This is Jerry Gonzalez and welcome to my YouTube channel. For those who view my channel for the first time, we are doing budget database project in parallel with the tutorial. You could maximize the benefits of this video if you will also view the preceding tutorials in this channel. Don't forget to click subscribe and hit the notification bell so that you will not miss new videos. Should you have other database projects in mind that you want to be done in this tutorial, or any idea to improve our channel, please write your comments below. This is our latest database. Open FRM expenses. We could filter the records from this form, but at the moment we could not add, edit, and delete records. In this video, we will focus on developing the add function of the form. What we want to happen is that when we click add, there will be a form that will appear where we could enter additional records. To do that, I will use TBL expenses add as the data source of the form. Open TBL expenses add table. While this table is on focus, go to Create menu, then click Form. This will automatically create form based on TBL expenses add table. Save the form. Rename it to FRM expenses add. Then click OK. For this form, I want to get rid of the title for now. Go to Design View, click Form Header. Right-click, choose Form Header Footer, then click Yes. Click Save. Close the form as well as the TBL expenses add table. I want that when I click the Add label, the FRM expenses add form to open. To do that, open FRM expenses form in Design View. Click Add, right-click, choose Properties, go to Event tab, look for OnClick, and click the ellipsis of this event. Choose Code Builder. Then in VBA, type do CMD that open form FRM expenses add. Then click Save. And go back to MS Access. Let's try. Go back to Form View. Click Add Label. There you go, FRM expenses add is now open. But I want to make this form to pop up like a dialog box. To do this, go to Design View. Go to All tab. For pop-up, assign Yes. For Auto Center, assign Yes. For Border Style, assign Dialog. For Record Selector, assign No. For Navigation button, assign No. For scroll bars, assign neither. For close button, assign no. For min max button, assign none. Then click Save. Close FRM expenses add form, then click Add. Now FRM expenses add will be in pop-up format. Since this is data entry form, this should be initially empty. To empty this form, we need to delete all the records in the data source, which is the TBL expenses add table. These are the records that we will delete programmatically. I want that every time I click the add label, the records within TBL expenses add will be deleted. Close FRM expenses add and TBL expenses add. Then go to design view of FRM expenses. Click add, then go to event tab. In on click, click the ellipsis. Before we continue this code, let's go back to MS Access to check QRY expenses delete, because this is the action query that we will use for the code. We need to make sure that it will act according to what we want to happen. Based on this query, it will delete the records from TBL expenses. This is not what we want to happen. What we want is to delete all the records in TBL expenses add table. Therefore, we will replace the TBL expenses with TBL expenses add here. Double click the asterisk and save the query. Close the query. It means that if we run QRY expenses delete query, it will delete all the records in TBL expenses add table. Going back to VBA code, type here do cmd dot open query query expenses delete. Save and go back to MS Access. Click Add. There will be warnings that will appear. We will bypass these later. Click Yes. Click Yes. There you go, the FRM expenses add form is open, and its text boxes are empty because all the records of its data source are deleted. Close the form. Go to design view, then close. Go to the design view of the form, click Add, then on Click Event, click the ellipsis. To get rid of the warnings in MS Access, type docmd.setWarnings false before the opening of any action query. But at the end of the code, it is better to reinstate the warnings so that we will be notified with other necessary notes from MS Access. So right here, docmd that set warnings true. Then click Close. Go to Form View, click Add. Now we go straight to opening of FRM Expenses Add form without any warnings. Now we will make changes to FRM Expenses Add form. Go to Design View, close the property sheet so that we will have a wider space for editing the form. Decrease the width of the text boxes. This form is automatically created by MS Access, thus the text boxes are placed in a layout. This means that if you change the width of one of the text boxes, it will also change the width of all the other text boxes. The downside of this is that we could not separate several text boxes from the group. To address this issue, we could select all the object within the layout by clicking the plus sign at the upper left-hand side of the layout. Go to Arrange menu and select Remove Layout. Now we could move the selected text boxes to other location within the form. I want all the newly added records to be shown below. Go to Design menu and select List Box. Drop and drag it here. Then click Cancel. Delete the list box label. Click the list box. Right click and select Properties. The content of the list box should be from TBL Expenses Add table. Thus the row source should be TBL Expenses Add. Go to Alt Tab, look for the column count and change its value to 5 because that is the total number of fields of its row source. From the column widths, initially I will assign 1 inch for each column. For column heads, assign yes. Then I will insert command button. Go to Design menu. Select button. Drop and drag it here. Click Cancel. Change the text to Close. Select the button again. Change the name to BTN Close. What are the actions that we will perform? What are the actions that will be performed after clicking the Close button? Of course, it should close FRM Expenses Add form. Go to Event tab Make sure that the close button is still highlighted. Click the ellipsis of on-click event and select Code Builder. Type docmd.close AC form FRM expenses add. Save. Click save, then click yes. Then go back to MS Access. Save and close FRM expenses add form. Click add to check if the codes that we added is working. Click close. It's working. Another thing, when the label add is clicked, I want the ID to be automatically generated. This should follow the highest ID value from TBL expenses table. Click close. From this form, we could see that the highest ID value is 3. Therefore, if we click add, the ID that must be generated here is 4. To do that, go to Design View. Make sure that the small square here is selected. Go to Event tab. Click the ellipsis of the onload event. We will create a code that will give instruction to MS Access to look for the highest ID from TBL expenses table, then add 1. The resulting value will be used as ID of the new record. Select Code Builder. Then click OK. Write do CMD sorry, it should be me.txt_id. There is no text ID yet. Go back to MS Access and we will rename the text boxes. Select ID text box, then go to Alt tab from Property Sheet. Change the name of the text box to TXTID. This text box should be renamed TXT Particulars. The name of this text box should be TXT Amount. Then this text box will be TXT Run Date. And the last text box will be TXT BUD ID. Click Save. Then click the small square at the upper left of the design view. Go to Event tab and click the ellipsis of the onload event. Type me.txtid equals dmax, then ID. This is the field name, then followed by the name of the table where you want to search, which is TBL expenses. Then +1. But how about if there is no record yet in TBL expenses? Then the ID will be null. Considering this condition, we will use the function NZ. It means that if the highest ID value is null, then it will be treated as 0. Then plus 1. Click Save and go back to MS Access. Close the form FRM Expenses Add. Click Add. There you go, the ID is automatically generated with value equal to 4. After we fill in all the text boxes here and hit Tab, we will go to the next new record, and this record should have an ID equal to 5. To do that, go back to Design View. In Event tab, click Ellipsis of After Update. Select Code Builder, then click OK. Type me.txtid dot default value equals me dot txtid plus 1. Then save. There should be no comma. Delete this comma, then click Save. Go back to MS Access. Let's try. Click Add. For particulars, type temp. For amount, type 500. For trend date, 01 May. For budget ID, 1. Press Tab key 3 times. You will see that the new value of ID is 5, but the new record should be shown in the list box. To do this, open FRM Expenses Add form in Design View. We need to refresh the list box after update. To do that, go to Event tab under Property Sheet. Then click the ellipsis of the After Update event. Then type me.list27.requery. My list box name is list27. Yours might have different name. Then save. Return to MS Access. Close FRM Expenses Add form. Let's see if our code is working. Click Add. For particulars, type temp. For amount, 200. For trend date, 01 May. For budget ID, 1. Press Tab from your keyboard 3 times. There you go. You can now see the new record in the list box. But you need to press the Tab key several times before we can see the record in the list box. This should be avoided, and the record should be displayed in one tap of the Tab key. Then in trend date field, this is not the format that I prefer. I want it to be medium date format instead. The date in the list box should be medium date format as well. For budget ID field, it is more convenient if there will be a drop-down list showing the budget categories instead of budget IDs. To make these adjustments, open the form in Design View. Select the trend date field. and go to Format tab. In Format, type medium date. For budget ID field, I will change it from text box to combo box. Go to Data tab, then go to Data tab, go to Row Source, click the ellipsis, select TBL expenses, and click Close. Double-click ID as well as budget category, BudCat. I want the budget category be arranged in ascending order. Then click Save, then click Close. Go to All tab in Property Sheet. Look for column count and assign 2 because we have 2 fields in our row source, ID and budget category. For column widths, I will assign 0 for the first column because I don't want this to be visible in the drop-down list. Then I will assign 3 for the next field, which is the budget category. For column heads, assign yes. I also mentioned that I prefer that the format of dates within the list box is medium date. To do that, open TBL Expenses Add Table in Design View. Then change the format of trend date to medium date. Click Close and click Yes. I also mentioned that the values for budget should be changed from IDs to description of categories. To make that happen, click the list box and go to Data tab of the Property Sheet. Look for the row source and click its ellipsis and click Yes. Right-click and select the Show Table. Double-click TBL Budget Table. Remove the link because this is incorrect. Just select the connection line and press Delete. This is the foreign key and the primary key. Connect this by clicking Budget ID and drag it to ID. Double-click the link and Join Properties dialog box will appear. Select the second option so that all the records from TBL Expenses Add will appear even there is no budget assignment. From TBL Expenses Add table, double-click ID, particulars, amount, trend date. I will not choose Bud ID, but rather I will choose BudCat from TBL budget. Then I will arrange ID in ascending order. Click Save and click Close. Close FRM Expenses Add. Let's see the result. Click Add. For particulars, type temp. For amount, 500. Click Tab. The cursor goes directly to Bud ID instead of trend date. To correct this, go to Design View. Go to ID. And go to other tab. The tab index is 0 and that's okay. I want to disable this text box so that the user will not be allowed to change the ID. Go to Data tab, look for Enabled and assign No. For Lack, assign Yes. Then go to Other tab and assign No for the tab stop. Actually, this does not matter because the text box is disabled. Even the tab stop is set to Yes. The cursor still could not go to this object. For particulars, the tab index is 1 and that's okay. For the amount is 2. For trend date, it should be 3. For BUD ID, it should be 4. Then for the list box, set the tab stop to No, as well as the close button. The tab stop should be also No. Click Save and click Close. Let's try again. Click Add. For particulars, type temp. For amount, 500. For trend date, 01 May. For BUD ID, choose toiletries. Then we will enter the next new record. For particulars, temp again. For amount, 2,500. For trend date, 01 May. For BUD ID, choose utilities. Tab, then click Close. But the newly added records are not shown in the expenses form. Why is that? This is because the code for appending the new records to TBL expenses table is not yet in place. To address this issue, click Add. Then go to Design View of FRM Expenses Add. Select Close button. But before we continue with the code that we will add in Close button, let's check first the content of QRY Expenses Append query. Look for this query from the navigation pane, right-click and choose Design View. Based on the design, it shows that it will append all the records from TBL Expenses Add to TBL Expenses. This is also what we want to happen once we click the Close button. It means that we can use this query and no need to make any alterations. Going back to Close button, go to Event tab, then click the ellipsis of On Event. Before closing the form, we will write here do cmd.open query QRY expenses append. We are opening again an action query, therefore we should set the warnings to false at the start of the code. So write do cmd.set warnings false. Then activate the warnings or activate the warning at the end of the code. Write do cmd.set warnings true. Click Save and go back to MS Access. But before that, we want the appended records to be visible in the list box of expenses form. Type forms exclamation mark FRM expenses dot list 0 dot requery. This additional code will just refresh the list box. Click Save and go back to MS Access. Close the FRM expenses add form. To check the changes made, click Add. For particulars, write temp. For amount, 200. For trend date, 01 May. For BUD ID, write toiletries. Press tab to go to the next new record. For particulars, type temp. For amount, 2,500. For trend date, 01 May. For BOD ID, choose Utilities. Press tab. Then click Close. Right away, you will see the added records here, 4 and 5. But I guess this is not the arrangement you have in mind. If you want to arrange the records according to ID, then go to Design View, select the list box, go to Data tab, click the ellipsis of the row source, double-click the ID, make sure to unmark the checkbox, then sort the ID in ascending order. Click Save and Close. Go to Form View. Now the records are arranged according to ID. But the budget ID here are expressed in numbers. It will be more convenient if we could directly see the budget categories. To do this, go to Design View again. Make sure that the list box is selected. Go to Data tab and click the ellipsis of row source. Add a new table. Right-click and select TBL budget, then close the dialog box. Connect the foreign key to primary key. Make sure that all the records in TBL expenses will be visible in the form. To ensure this, double-click the link and choose option 2, then click OK. I will insert budget category by dragging it to the query table. Click Save and Close. Go to Form View. You will see a note that reads the specified field ID could refer to more than one table listed in from clause of your SQL statement. Click OK, go to Design View, select the list box. From Data tab, click the ellipsis of the row source. The field ID is available to both tables, that's why Access needs to know which table you are referring from. To give this information to MS Access, go to Build, highlight the ID, then look for TBL expenses, then double-click ID, then click OK. You will also notice that the field name amount is available to both tables. We will do the same. Go to Build, highlight the amount, look for TBL expenses, double-click amount, click OK. The remaining fields here are unique, thus those don't need adjustments. Click Close, click Yes. Go to All tab. Change the assignment for column count to 6 because we added one field in the query. I want to hide the field for budget ID, therefore I will assign 0 width for it, then add 3 inches for budget category, then go to Form View. Now you see that the budget ID is no longer visible and replaced with budget category. Let's try to add one more record. Click Add. For particulars, write temp. For amount 100. For tran date 01 May. For budget ID, choose food. Then press tab, click close. Then you will see the added record here with ID equal to 6. This is all for now. Next video, we will tackle the codes for edit and delete function of the form. We will use SQL statement to run the action queries. Don't forget to subscribe and activate the notification bell. Thank you for watching.